Again, keep in mind, it is Friday. What do the news try to do? What do the deep state try to do? They try to do news dumps on Friday in the hopes that not a lot of people not a lot of people are paying attention. Bill Fred just said you insulted Punxsutawney Phil.
I was thinking the same thing. He comes out once a year, right?
Yes. So Punxsutawney Phil comes out more than Bob Casey.
6 times the amount of work Bob Casey does, right?
A groundhog in the state of Pennsylvania does 6 times the amount of work than Bob Casey. And in fact,
Good point, Fred. I agree. I was thinking the same thing.
If Punxsutawney Phil had a voting card, he would be less devastating for our country in Pennsylvania if the groundhog was voted.
100%.
He just votes president on everything. He would do less damage than Bob Casey.
Yes.
How are we spending so much time on that?
I don't know, but I appreciate the point because I was thinking the same
thing. Bill, well played, sir. Well played. Okay, so again, it's Friday, news dump day. Deep state, blob, bureaucrats, they put stuff out today that they want people not to cover. Well, the acting director of the United States Secret Service, Rowe, did his very first press conference today, and this is what he had to say.
The Secret Service takes full responsibility for the tragic events of July 13th. This was a mission failure. The sole responsibility of our agency is to make sure our protectees are never put in danger. We fell short of that in Butler, and I'm working to make sure that this failure does not happen again. I'm focused on ensuring that the full resources of the Secret Service are utilized to safeguard our protectees, and I've implemented and will continue to implement changes to ensure that that happens. We are and we will continue to cooperate with pending oversight investigations of the July 13th failure being done now by Congress, the Department of Homeland Security's Office of the Inspector General, and the independent review directed by President Biden. Additionally, the Secret Service's Office of Professional Responsibility is currently conducting a mission assurance review. As I stated, I am not waiting for the completion of those reports, and I've directed the Secret Service to take immediate steps to ensure our protectees are indeed safe. And I will summarize those steps in a moment. I am committed to pursuing accountability for the Secret Service's failure in Butler, Pennsylvania. But let me be clear. If policy violations by Secret Service personnel are identified by the agency's mission assurance review, those individuals will be held accountable. And they will be held accountable to our fair and thorough disciplinary process. The first part of that process is an investigation to identify whether policy violations occurred.
Okay, now my question for you all, and we're looking here at the live chat, there's like a little bit of a delay, but do you trust what Rowe is saying with regards to accountability and a full investigation? Do you think the United States Secret Service should be investigating itself on this? We're watching the live chat. Let me know what you think. He said lots of things during this press conference that have me scratching my head. One of them was this. Listen.
At 6 p.m., former President Trump took the stage to begin remarks. And based on what I know right now, neither the Secret Service counter-sniper teams nor members of the former president's security detail had any knowledge that there was a man on the roof of the AGR building with a firearm. It is my understanding that personnel were not aware the assailant had a firearm until they heard gunshots.
So Commander Melanie is whispering in my ear, a lot of F knows. Oh, you all are the best audience in the world. We completely agree. So here is Rowe saying that they did not know that Crooks had a rifle until he shot. He was carrying a rangefinder. Local SWAT teams saw him on the ground and thought he was a threat enough for one of them to leave their post and actually chase him down. Now, he evaded that officer. But the law enforcement, at least 90 seconds before shots rang out, were calling the United States Secret Service to report that he was a threat. Yet here you have the acting director, Rowe, say that they didn't even know the dude had a rifle? How does any of this make sense to any of you?
Yes.
What?
Well, if they are trying to let something happen to Trump, it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
All of that makes sense if every one of his answers makes sense.
My thesis is it was willful negligence.
Mhm.
And they just wanted to be able to throw their hands up and say, well, hey, so bad things happen sometimes, but it wasn't us. Like, we didn't do it, you know? Okay, so lots of inexplicable things. That was one. And this is the other. Like, listen to this.
Just a quick question. There's a report that a whistleblower has alleged that you personally directed cuts to the counter surveillance division, which led to the threat assessments team failing to perform its duties that it typically would before the Butler rally. Is that accurate? Is that allegation accurate?
So I've recently become aware of this. We got a congressional letter on it. What I can tell you is that the counter surveillance division, they do a fantastic job. They have a very specific mission set. A lot of that mission set is here in the National Capital Region, focused on permanent protective sites. But they do go out and they support, when requested, they go out and support former details. I know that there's been allegations that that I personally cut or that I denied requests. The counter surveillance division has been out there supporting the former president's detail at some very high-profile events. They continue to provide that support, and they're out there providing support right now. So we're going to respond to the letter that we received, and we'll be sure to make that. I'm sure they will. We'll be able to share that response when the committee says it's okay to respond.
That is what you call, America, a non-answer to the question. Did you direct the cuts to the Trump campaign's security detail? Well, let me answer this, Bill. Thank you for the question, by the way. Our counter surveillance team does a real good job. Oh, yeah. You did a great effing job on July 13th, dude.
Like just imagine with some sign in his office today, like 20 days without an assassination attempt. Like, yay, like, great job.
They did an amazing job. Our counter surveillance team does a great job. Come on. Like, come on. None of this should fly. He should know whether or not he directed cuts to Trump's security detail. He completely just did not answer the question.
Well, he answered the question by not answering the question, right? Because if it was not true, he would have said, no, it's not true.
That's exactly.
He answered the questions.
That's actually a good point. He answered through a non-answer. Exactly.
Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest.
To get your free definitive gold guide and get started learning more about investing in gold and protecting your retirement from uncertain times, visit treasureandtrust.com now. Fill out the basic contact form and a member of the team will be in touch. Again, that's treasureandtrust.com or call 855-625-7760.